This is ClevelandMoto podcast sans Phil because Captain decided to go skiing in negative 2-degree weather in the Catskills in New York or something.
Shame on him
went to
for
Holiday
having
Valley.
a good time.
Yeah, Holiday Valley, that's it. So episode 359.
Wow.
Phil. So how's everybody doing today in this negative 4,000 degree weather?
Beautiful.
I'm doing
How
pretty
cold
good.
is it? How cold is it actually up there?
It was -1 this morning in my front yard, and then the high today was 15.
Okay.
Right now it's 11.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it feels like 12.
I had to go. I had
It's a
to.
dry cold. It's fine.
It's a dry cold.
I had to go over to Harley Bob's house today because his cameras quit working. And of course, the driveway isn't plowed. I had to park in his neighbor's driveway and
Now, wait a minute.
trudge across the tundra to get into his
You have a
house.
Subaru. You should have been able to drive right up it and park on the house.
Yeah, there's
But wait a minute.
There's a 6-foot plow bank in front of his house.
So ask Kromke where Harley Bob is residing these days.
He's in Mexico, like always.
Yeah, he goes to Puerto Vallarta or wherever the hell it is every year.
Right.
For 6 months.
Yeah.
5.
He was telling me about some of his escapades in the 80s down there.
I'm sure a lot of it had to do with Schneef.
Dude, I didn't know it snowed in Mexico. Harley Bob's all right. We got to get him back on the podcast. We should have booed him up for the Zoom cast and get him up from fucking Mexico, man.
He's a fun meal and he's live.
He doesn't really do anything. He's probably just sitting at home anyways.
Yeah.
Well, Kromke, get him on the friggin' phone for Christ's sake. Let's go. The hell's the matter with you?
So Smith,
Maybe next time.
you missed a good solid Sunday last week, man.
I know. And I'm outside your front door right now knocking on the door, but you won't fucking answer your door. So, I don't want to hear it.
My wife would let you in. But I realized today that I have some pretty good scars to show that we did that shit last week.
So
I was willing to kiss it and make it better.
Yeah.
So did anybody get busted up or what?
Oh, I did. Yeah. Well, I think I got busted up the day before where me and John tried to ride on the ice before we put the spikes in the tires. That's what messed me up.
Did the spikes work?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The thing that kind of sucks is like we either have to get a Zamboni or plow the pond before you ride on it because like the snow on top of it becomes slick. So like you have like the ice and the studs and the tires bite into the ice, but with the snow on top of it, you can hit snow and then slide out on the snow.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Matt,
I got some chains for Piper's quad runner. Maybe we can like put the chains on and then put a shovel on the front of it.
yeah,
Or
that sounds
something.
like a good deal. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, man.
So Mac, did you get busted up at all?
No, I'm fine.
What about you, Dano?
No, I'm good. I only did about 4 laps, but
Apparently, I'm the only one that hurt himself severely, but that's okay.
Well, you loser piece of shit.
Mentally.
I waited until Tuesday, and then I slipped on the ice and hurt myself in front of my garage. I need some of those screws. I want some of those screws to put into my shoes.
Yeah, no shit. This morning, I went to go get. I went and got gas and kerosene and stuff, and filled my car up because it was so cold and I didn't have gas. But it was like 8, 9 in the morning, and I stepped out the thing and slipped on the front steps and murdered myself. Like all the places I hurt ice racing, I re-injured today. And
Let's see. Hold it up to the camera.
Oh, I'll show you.
That was mine.
You don't want to see it. It's not pretty, man.
I saw it.
Yeah. Well, we were, the sauna, the naked sauna and stuff like that works out pretty well. So, hey, did any of you guys see what the Misfits are doing today, right now, live?
Yep.
Smith, did you hear about this at all?
No, give me the update.
So you guys gotta listen. I know that they have a different style and that's them and everything, and we love them and everything like that. But you gotta explain to me where the fun is in this. So what they've done is they've lined up like 20 of their friends, and their friends have loaded their motorcycles up with pillows and sleeping bags and all kinds of shit. And what they're doing is they're in a parking lot and they're going to sit on their motorcycles until somebody can't sit on it anymore. So they're not riding, they're not doing anything. They're just sitting on their motorcycles.
I think at least what they need to do is like ride around in circles in the parking lot for hours and hours and hours. And the only time they can stop is for fuel. They can't get off the bike, and they just need to keep doing that because just sitting there on the bike.
You have to maintain contact with your bike.
Right.
But what's the fun of sitting on a bike? Like, what is the challenge or the fun? Is it just like, who's asking?
Are they drinking? They're not drinking?
No.
What?
So I was like, what we could do is go to Porco and sit at the bar, and the last person to fall off the bar stool wins, because that sounds fun.
Yeah, that's probably more challenging.
So let me say this: the misfits are doing this because they have so run out of things to talk about that they're completely devoid of any kind of intelligence.
Well, and on top of
that, on your bike.
No. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Let me stand up for the misfits here, and that they have plenty of intelligence, and that it to me, it's not a bad idea. It's just the application of force. I mean, I get it. Let's see who can stay on their bike the longest.
Okay.
But there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to ride your bike.
Yeah, but you know what's going to suck?
Or have fun while you're doing the whole thing. And plus, it's not going to be the first person that falls off. It's going to be the last person that falls off, right? I mean,
right. But you know what's going to
make sense?
Is the next 3 podcasts. Oh, yes, I am. The next 3 podcasts of the top 10 lists of sitting on your bike without moving. Like,
what are the top 10 bikes you'd like to sit on until your ass falls off?
You know, I wonder if anybody doing this right now is planning on just, picking up their feet and riding off for a little bit, or
I think you should be allowed.
To stay put. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, stop.
I mean, there's nothing
Eating me up.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. That it just seemed weird though. Like, of all the things that you could do with all this stuff, and that's how.
I mean,
I would end up falling asleep on my bike and I'd fall off.
Or you wouldn't, and you'd win. That would be you. You'd just get comfortable on it and sit there, and then you'd wake up in the morning, everybody's all sore and tired, and you're like, what happened?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that the whole thing is I would get super bored just sitting there, and it's like, how could you possibly be bored on a motorcycle? It's like,
well, I mean, what's the point?
Having a burlesque show and stuff in front of them. So as they're sitting on their bikes, there's going to be drag queens wiggling around with butt cheeks and stuff going on.
Well, there's just no point.
Is that for real, or is that
sitting
just
on your bike?
No,
nothing. You're just sitting there doing nothing.
The last update on Facebook, Liza said like, "Oh, the burlesque show will start in like an hour or 2 or something."
Are they raising money for something, or is there a point to this? Or
the winner is $1,000, and I don't know where it came from. It's probably from the Misfits, but yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
All right, what's next?
Well, I think what we should come up with is a ramp, and then we have to have ramp settings so that we go from a 1/2 inch all the way up to 7 feet. And then, people keep going.
7 feet.
Well, that's a big jump.
7 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you would start with a 12-inch ramp, so that's like that big. Right? What? Ow!
So you would, but I like your name. We would have the Numbnuts challenge because as far as I know, everybody in our podcast does have a set of nuts.
Well, that's what
so it'd be fair.
Numbnuts challenge.
Yeah. Oh, that's what they're calling it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a notion. I'm not against doing something like that, but I certainly don't think your bike should have to be stationary.
Yeah, no,
I think as long as you're in contact with your bike, and then that also brings more of a challenge. You decide you want to get off your bike and just hold your pinky while you're touching the bar. That's great, but if you lose contact, you're out.
Yeah.
You can sleep on your bike if you want, but if you fall off and you lose contact, you're out.
Yep. Yeah.
So the last update I see is from an hour ago, and Liza's walking around. Was she not participating in this, or?
She's usually the host, so I don't know if the host participates or not. But another thing I thought was interesting is they all have.
I would love to be there because I'd be like feeding them drinks. I'd be like, "Here's the brown liquor. Come on, have a drink." You know, like
that's fine because they're all wearing helmets in full gear to sit on their bike.
Okay.
Who's going to be the first person to pee on the motorcycle?
I think
So it's a giant ride to nowhere.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much what it sounds like. So, John's snow machine, I almost took it to work the other day because it was so snowy out here. And there's people that just drive them on the side of the roads. And I'm like, fuck, man, this might be the way to go in the winter. Just riding a snow machine around.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what they do in like upstate New York.
Yeah. Oh, Chris will tell you Pete knows about that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was telling a story. I was talking to Pete Hempfling, and I guess he was up in upstate New York riding a snow machine with a buddy of his. And for some reason, he lost control and hit a tree.
It's whoever's. It's all the same. It's just
Well, this one.
He hit the tree.
They're all the same, honey. They're all the same.
What happened? John was fucking everything up. What did you say?
So he hit the tree straight on. And the next day, he said he did not remember driving back to the hotel that night. And then the next day, the guy he rode up there with, they're driving back to Cleveland and looked at Pete and said, "Do you have a black eye?" And Pete turned to him, and the guy says, "Wait a minute, you got two black eyes." So apparently Pete's head, wearing a helmet, must have whacked into the bars or some doggone thing. So I don't know whether his snow machine hit a dip or something like that and he lost control. But it was not a glancing blow against the tree. It was a dead-on doink.
Well, that's the thing about these snow machines. Like, they're fun as shit. Like, John's is fun as shit. And it's faster than you think it's going to be. But at that same point, the steering is kind of like, it's like
vague.
Yeah, vague is a good word.
How does it stop?
That's brake.
Yeah, it has a disc brake that's connected to the drive line.
So it stops pretty well. So
not bad, but again, not on a dime.
I mean, if you were hauling ass like 80, 90 miles an hour and you hit the brake and the ski is not going to, you're going to have 20 or 30 feet of sliding before you stop, man.
At least.
Does the track, like, if you lock it up, does it behave sort of like if you lock up the back wheel, it'll start to slide a little bit? Or like,
yes, it will skid. You could probably skid it sideways if you wanted.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's also crazy. What I didn't really understand until I was on it with B is that even in a foot of snow, you can fall over. Like, you can literally like just lean too much and the fucking thing tips over, which I didn't expect that. You know, it's like, it's way more jet ski than you think it's going to be, even in like 6 to 8 inches of snow.
Well, Hempfling said that it will stop by a tree.
It will. A tree will stop it nicely.
Yeah, definitely. So, John, did you get the parts for that thing, the snow machine, or no?
I did. I got the rebuild kit for the recoil starter and everything. So next time I'm out there, we should be able to no longer have to ratchet strap start it.
All right. Well, I got some stuff in the mail. So I got my seat cover material and I had the foam. But I want to go on a rant for a minute. So I have 2 of the spring-loaded like industrial staple guns, you know, for stapling like real shit.
Uh-huh.
So I got the foam. I cut the foam. I was all excited to put my seat. I didn't take the old seat cover off. I was just going to redo a thing. I got the seat material, and even the piece that I cut, I still have like 2/3 of it. So I have enough seat material for 2 more seats if you guys are interested. But anyways, I start stretching this shit over. Dude, fuck these stupid these stapler things, man. Like, you need a compressed air one or something. I'd get one staple in, then the next one wouldn't work, then that third one would jam, then the next staple wouldn't go into the fucking plastic. Like, these things suck. Like, they just...
I have an electric stapler that's pretty good. It really slams them in there, and that's what I've used.
All right, you might have to bring that over, and then I'll give you some foam and some seat cover material. But I was pissed, man. I was all excited to get this shit, and then I couldn't. The staples won't go into the seat pan to hold the material.
Well, that's not a wooden seat pan. That's a hard plastic seat pan. So it's it's going to take a little bit.
Well, I know, but it's supposed to have like 50 foot-pounds of fucking stapling force, and it sucks. I mean, it just sucks. There's just no question about it. It blows ass.
I do have an air nailer that supposedly will also shoot staples, so it might come to that.
Yeah, because, I mean, you can only use 1/8-inch staples. Otherwise, it'll blow through the seat pan, and you'll be sitting on staples. So you just, it has to be the shorter ones. But that's
okay for your seat, but not for mine.
Oh, you want the longer ones popping through?
On your seat.
Oh, okay.
So, Sleepy, how dense is the foam that you got for that seat?
It's fairly dense. It's a cushion foam, but I was going to smash it down with the thing. So I'm not 100% convinced it's the right foam yet.
Yeah, I bought some foam, and I'm not convinced it is either.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking if I can find like an inch thick gel insert, even if it's not long enough, just cut it and tape it. I got some of that Flex Seal tape, the waterproof tape stuff. I was using it for something completely different, but that shit's awesome. Like you could definitely put 2 pieces of gel together with that stuff and then slap it underneath there to make like a long jelly kind of thing for the seat. So,
well, there was an article I read about seat repair that said a good thing to do is to get the really dense under carpet foam and then just glue it, layers.
Okay.
Just glue it in layers until it's the thickness you want, and then you trim it with an electric knife.
Yeah. I that's what I was gonna do.
And that's a pretty dense foam usually.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that because I wasn't really happy with this foam, but every time we ride the SSRs, my asshole hurts for like days afterwards because the seat has no cushion whatsoever. So it has to be better if we do something. So Nick, are you able? I mean, obviously this weekend is like super blizzard death storm or something, but when it's not this week, are you able? Like, what's the weather like down in North Carolina generally?
Well, this is the 3rd weekend in a row that there's been snow actually accumulating on the ground. And so I haven't been, to be honest, I don't ride my motorcycles and I don't even work on them lately. But I'd like to eventually get back out there. I think this week should warm back up a little bit. Really, it's been pretty unpredictable. I know we're always talking about Ohio weather being all over the place, and it's kind of been that way down here too.
Do people lose their minds when there's snow down there?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like
I haven't really.
Like when you're driving, you're used to it, so you're probably like the guy. Like everybody else is freaking out.
Well, yeah, but my car has like super low profile autocross tires, so really under 50 degrees. They start slipping pretty bad, even if there's no ice or snow on the ground. So I haven't really been driving a whole lot recently.
I thought you had 2 sets of tires, like the normal ones and your autocross ones.
No, I only have the autocross ones. I never bought another set of tires for the. I normally have like high performance summer tires and winter tires at least, but I never bought a set of winter tires for the Hyundai because I bought it about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and at the time I was like, well, I don't really know if I'm going to be sticking around a place that has snow, so I'm not going to buy snow tires. So that first winter, I just didn't drive it for 5 months. But yeah, that's where we're at with that.
All right, who's got a TV on in the background?
Me.
I do.
Okay.
Hey, you want to hear a joke?
Yes.
Yep.
So a man is in bed with his wife, and there's a knock at the door. He rolls over and looks at the clock, and it's 3 a.m. I'm not getting out of bed at this time, he thinks, and he rolls over. Then the knock is louder, and his wife says, "Aren't you going to answer that?" So he drags himself out of bed and goes downstairs. He opens the door, and there's a man standing at the door. And it didn't take him long to realize the man's drunk. "Hi there," slurs the stranger. "Can you give me a push?" "No, get lost. It's 3 a.m. I was in bed." And he slams the door, goes back up to bed, and tells his wife what happened. And she says, "Dave, that wasn't very nice. Remember the night we broke down in the rain on the way to pick up the kids from the babysitter, and you had to knock on that man's door to get us started again? What would have happened if he told us to get lost?" "But the guy was drunk," said the husband. "Doesn't matter," says the wife. "He needs our help, and it would be the Christian thing for you to go down and help him out." So the husband hauls his ass out of bed and goes down and gets dressed, and he opens the door, and he says to the stranger, "Hey, do you still want to push?" And he hears a voice cry out and say, "Yes, please." And the guy says, "Where are you?" The guy says, "I'm over here on your swing."
No. That was long for a very bad.
That's pretty funny.
Come on, man.
Just the other night, probably around 2 a.m, dead asleep, and our alarm starts going off. And I run down the stairs to see that the door going to our garage is open, and our cat, it wasn't shut all the way. Our cat clawed it open and went out into the garage and set the alarm off. And then, so I was like, all right, that's great. Shut the door, got the cat, blah, 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 blah. But then I went back upstairs and I was like, well, what was my plan there? Like, what if someone was breaking into the house and I just ran down the stairs and was like, I don't know, annoyed more than anything. It's like, well,
dude, I had something like that the other night. So January 7th was my daughter's birthday, and because my wife is my wife, she has taught my daughter about birthday month, where like not only do you have a birthday, you have a birthday month, and like during that month you get special things like you can leave your birthday decorations all over the fucking house for a month. Okay, so she had her little party here a couple weeks ago and stuff, and there's balloons all over the place. I haven't thought about them. They're just like whatever. I figured in a week or two we'll take them down. So the other day I was having pain just from my arthritis and the cold weather and stuff. So I medicated myself with my homegrown medication, and I had a couple of beers, and I'm sitting in the chair just comfortably relaxing, watching some stupid show, and I'm kind of falling asleep. And B and Amy were upstairs, so I was by myself downstairs, and I'm nodding out. And as I'm nodding out, my eyes are kind of looking over, and then I kind of come to again for a minute, and there's a fucking entity drifting toward me. I'm like, the fuck is that? And then I got kind of nervous. And so I kind of open my eyes again, and it's kind of dark in the room. And I'm like, holy shit, there's something drifting toward me. So I jump out, and I'm stabbing and punching and fucking going ape shit. And this poor balloon just gets fucking pummeled and falls back down and goes in the other direction. This balloon, because of the log furnace, the heat, like it must have just created enough of a wave that it picked the balloon up and was just floating it toward me. I thought it was Satan himself, dude. I was about to stab him with the TV remote, man. It was, oh shit, it scared the hell out of me. So, yeah, that was my big excitement for the other night. Oh yeah. I do have an announcement. So I am selling my FJ. I'm going to have either Phil do it or something, and I am getting an Africa Twin. I decided that I need an Africa Twin. So I'm going to sell the FJ, take the proceeds, try to scrape together a few bucks. I want to get an Africa Twin. Not a new one, a used one, because like used ones are down to like $8,500, $9,000 now. And I could probably get about 75 for the FJ, so I need about a G.
what color do you want?
I don't really care. And none of them, I mean, I would love if I could get the Adventure Sport, the bigger tank with the
red, white, and blue one with the gold wheels.
I would definitely take that in a heartbeat, but my choice is going to be budget limited. whatever Africa Twin I can find. That the only thing I got going for me though is I do not want a DTC. As much as I believe in the technology and I think it's cool, and I think that a lot of bikes are going there, I still want to have gears. I don't want that DTC thing just yet. So But yeah, I mean, I was like trying to think of a bike that I just want something comfortable, reliable, and something like that. The FJ is all that, but I just don't like it. It just didn't gel with me.
Have you ridden Steve's Africa Twin?
No, I've ridden somebody else's for a brief moment, but it was so smooth and comfortable. And I don't know. I think it's the bike. I think it's the bike I want to have and put some miles on. So we'll see. I mean, that's my plan.
I think you should get a Versys.
That's a good bike too, man. I can't dog the Versys, but I'm a Honda guy at heart, which coming from you, you should be a Honda guy at heart too.
I am a Honda guy at heart, and I would love to have an Africa Twin.
I mean,
every time I've ridden Steve's, it's been a joy.
Yeah, you put more miles on Steve's than Steve has.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that. He does ride it quite a bit. But then, too, it's one of many bikes in his stable, so.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I just got to make it happen. I'm going to see if Phil can do a consignment deal, and, like, I'll tell him, like, you know, what I need out of the FJ and let him sell it and make some money, but just move it that way. That way I don't have to deal with people, because I hate dealing with people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't we all? But so does Phil. So, you know, I don't know.
I'm not giving him a shitty bike to sell. I mean, like, it's not going to be a problem. The bike's a good bike. It's just I just don't like it. That's the problem with it.
I thought you liked that bike.
No, the FJ, I hate it. So that triple, so like the Triumph is a triple, and I love that motor. It's smooth and it's good and all this stuff. The FJ has a weird vibration, and like people call it character, and to me, it's just not character. So it's not like there's something wrong with mine. All of them have it, but between 4,800 and 5,500, it has like a weird kind of vibe kind of vibration, and so it makes you either. I'm kind of a lugging dude. Like when if I have a bike, I'll ride it at 3,500 RPMs and kind of at the lower end of it to get some fuel mileage or something. And the FJ, you can't do that. You got to be up around $5,000, 4,800, 4,500 to keep it happy. And that's not my style of riding. So I kind of fell out of love with the bike. So it's not a bad bike. I mean, it handles well. The suspension, I mean, the dude added, before I got it, he added custom suspension, some kind of, cartridge inserts and a really nice shock in the back. So the suspension's nice, everything's cool. But me and that motor just don't get along, man. I don't know what it is about it. I just don't like it. So, but it is kind of interesting to learn that like I don't like a bike. So like that means like bikes do have character, and like everybody in the world might love a bike, but it just might not fit you. Like your sense or whatever. So that was kind of cool, I guess, to find that out.
Mm-hmm. How long have you had that? Like probably 2 or 3 years, right?
2 years. Yeah, I've had it 2 years. I got it with 12,000 miles and it's at 21. So I put, I don't know, number of miles.
Yeah, almost 10,000
really
miles.
Surprised if you don't. I'd like to ride it at some point because I rode my buddy's FJ 09 in California for a couple of days and it was like awesome.
No, everybody.
So I wonder.
For me, I think it's just me.
But then again, most of that was a lot of highway stuff, so it was never really lugging, and so maybe I was just in the sweet spot at the time. I don't know.
No, because I mean, there's some days where I don't mind it. The day that me and Smith, I don't even know who else came with us, but we went to Toledo. Who came with us, Smith, when we went to Toledo?
No, just you and I. We went to the brewery or up to Detroit to buy beer.
Well, no, to the brewery.
Maumee, yeah, it's just you and I going to Maumee Brewing Company.
And like, I didn't mind the bike that day. Like, it didn't bother me at all. But then on other days, like, I just get into a weird vibe where like that fucking vibration, I want to punch the bike in the face. But on other
days, if you remember when we were driving up to Maumee, I was going so slow just to wait for your ass. So
I know. Yeah, well, you know me.
I noticed even with my Versys, like, if you're buzzing along and then just like, on the highway, grab the clutch and let it coast. It's amazing how much vibration goes away when the engine isn't hooked to the driveline anymore.
Yeah.
But you might want to try that a couple times with that just to make sure that the vibration is coming from the engine and not from, a set of tires that's wearing bad or something like that.
Well, yeah, but it's not like a vibration. It's hard to explain. It's just the character of that motor. Like, because like you'll be riding and like you'll be doing like up to like 3,500 RPM or something. It's smooth as shit. Then it gets into that funky area where it's like the 38 to 51, 52 RPMs, 5,200, and it just gets like,
It resonates or something.
yeah, it just
Well, nobody has ever said that a 3-cylinder was the most balanced motor, I don't think.
no, but the Triumph is fucking great. The Triumph feels smooth and like it feels like you have something growling underneath you, but it's not annoying at all. Like I really
But it's also not putting out half the horsepower. It's only about half the horsepower.
true.
So,
It's true.
yeah.
But
And I don't know, does one bike, I don't think the Triumph doesn't have a balance shaft or counter shaft, does it?
I don't think so.
I don't
The
know.
FJ, I don't know about the FJ though. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, my America with the Triumph Parallel Twin, there are certain speeds and RPMs that engine doesn't like.
It's weird. It is weird like that. You know what's weird is that like motorcycles, as refined as most of them are, the fact that like we're all still talking about valve adjustments and shit at like 10,000 miles and stuff, when cars now, like my Hyundai's like at 240,000 miles, you might want to check the valves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy that cars have moved that far forward compared to motorcycles. John, is that like a tolerance thing? Like, why is that bikes need that shit fucking checked compared to cars?
Well, I mean, you don't, in a Harley Davidson with hydraulic lifters, you don't need it's hydraulic lifters.
Right.
So if you've got hydraulic lifters, they adjust themselves.
Yeah.
So it's that simple. And that's why, I've talked about like the Nighthawk 700 SC or whatever was a cool motor that it was shim over bucket, but hydraulic buckets, like you never have to adjust the valves.
So why don't they do that with more bikes? Is it a cost thing, or like why is it still just like, here, take half your fucking bike apart every 5,000 miles or 10,000 miles?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, typically like the hydraulic lifters are going to be on a push rod motor. So, it's odd to find them on a dual overhead cam. I don't know. I mean, is it cheaper? Maybe, if you're going for maximum horsepower and minimum tolerance, you don't want the hydraulic lifters because you can't get but I don't, same valve speed or something. I don't know. I have to look. I would need to educate myself on that more to see why.
I took apart a hydraulic lifter when my dad was rebuilding his BMW 3 Series engine. He replaced all the hydraulic lifters, and I took one apart. There's not a whole lot to it, the funny thing is it seems like something that'd be easy to retrofit into any motor.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't understand.
But it wouldn't. But if you have a single overhead cam motor, where are you going to put that hydraulic lifter? In between, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, and then like with a dual overhead cam, I think, and I haven't had one of those apart, I think they like kind of put them underneath the bucket, between the bucket and the valve. Tip of the valve somehow.
Right. That's how the BMW was. It was underneath the bucket.
So what was in there when you cracked that sucker open?
Not a whole lot. It's just like it's a sleeve, and then there's another little a piston, if you will, that fits in the sleeve. And really all it is oil pressure gets in there and it expands. It takes up the slack, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it. There's nothing fancy going on.
It seems like they can make that work with other motors, man.
I would think so.
Yeah. And again, they do. Royal Enfields, Harley Davidsons, they have hydraulic lifters. The clearance is 0. Valve clearance, 0.
Yeah.
The lifter takes up all the slack.
Do you see that Harley dropped their new thing and people are like, it's very divided now? Because
the Pan American. Are you talking about the Pan American?
No, they had a new release. Like, I'm fucking an idiot. I can't remember what it is, but it's back to like an FLXH or it's whatever. It's like their soft tail kind of fucking whatever. It's like they made a big deal about it, but it's very retro looking. And like, so a lot of people were like, we thought Harley was going in a new direction because the Pan America and the motor and all this stuff is great and everything. Then they drop this and it's kind of like, they're like, they won't let go of their roots. They got to hold on to it just in case all the cowboys get mad that they're not going to have any more super heavy old school looking bikes. So
is it the Lowrider ST?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, was it? Did you find the article or something?
I found a article, and it just kind of looks like any old Harley Davidson to me, at least.
Yeah. So whatever the designation is what the lowrider designation is. Like what is it? The FXHT? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But that was.
I still can't understand why Harley Davidson has a problem making a sport bike. You know, I mean, a fully fair. They had some beautiful race bikes back in the day.
Yep.
I don't. You know, they just bowed out of that. They're not going to do it. But
well, look
man,
at all the
I think it'd be
trackers.
cool.
Why wouldn't they lean into the whole street tracker thing? Like guys
Sure.
are fucking losing their minds over street trackers and stuff, and they had that.
Well,
you can't even find them. What was it, like a 2008 or 12, the 1200 XR street tracker fucking thing
Yep.
that they did? People love that bike, and yet it's hard.
look what Indian did with the FTR. That FTR 1200, fucking cool bike. And then they've been doing a lot of racing and stuff with it. Like,
Yeah.
why did Harley Davidson just say we're not even going to try to answer that call?
Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird.
Nope. We'll just let them have that niche. We won't dabble in that. We're comfortable with what we've got.
Right.
That's because the world doesn't have enough baggers.
Well,
Never will.
I'll say that the Harley Davidson Pan America looks pretty cool with those GV bags on it.
And who are you going to race with that? I mean, no Harley Davidson. Harley Davidsons aren't race bikes. The only race that they're in is the bagger race, and that's because you're only racing against other Harley Davidson baggers.
Or
Until an Indian showed up and beat them all.
yeah,
well,
right.
the Pan American's not set up to race. The Pan American's set up to go from, the tip of South America up to the tip of North America.
And I'll rub the Pan America's nose and shit on my fucking KLR 650 that's been around for 20 years.
And as you should, but this is a bike that they've never offered to anybody, and that's a market that they're not in. So they're trying to get into that market to see if they can make some waves. So
I'll give you that. It was bold. At least they tried to do something different.
absolutely.
And now that it's been out for like a year, even the long-term reviews and all the people that own them and stuff like that, nobody's mad at the bike. They say it's a really fucking good bike. Like, even the haters, they've had haters that were like, oh, it's a fucking Harley, fuck it, ride it. And they're like, okay, yeah, you know what? You guys did a pretty good job with this bike.
Speaking of bold, look at that. And I don't know what rock I've been living under, but it says that's a 2021 Sportster.
Yeah, well, it's actually coming out now, but yeah, whatever.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
So-
with the pipes and all that stuff. Remember we talked, or maybe you weren't on the podcast, but we talked.
It's kind of neat looking.
Build a Sportster that is indeed a Sportster that has a fairing, that has a race posture, that has, build it out of a V-twin. I mean, Ducati makes a V-twin. I mean, build a high horsepower Sportster motor in a Sportster aluminum frame. Maybe throw a little carbon fiber here and there. I mean, make it a black and orange race bike.
Yeah.
You can have it in any color you want as long as it's black or orange.
Yep. And then you can have the
That'd be
blue
pretty
headers on it, like the old that race bike you're talking about, because that was the best part. It was black on one side, orange on the other, and it had the fucking crazy blue headers. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That was cool. That was definitely cool. So
So have you been outside playing around since, or was it too cold for you?
it was too cold, man. Like all I've been doing is just working on the house, putting some stuff away. I built Amy her cat sanctuary. She got a new Coleman cooler that we had to cut holes in and put a cat door in to put back in the thing for the barn cats.
For the cat house.
Yeah, the cat house. I'm in the cat room right now, which is great, I guess. Hey, cats. But and then
Try to avoid any kind of catastrophe.
exactly. So the day that the kids had the snow day, B was all excited thinking Piper was coming over. And I told her, I was like, I don't know, but now anytime if I mention you, she automatically assumes that Piper's coming. So yeah, it's kind of funny.
I can't show up without my daughter. That's not
It's coming down.
a surprise. It was a little cold that day. I mean, that's the whole reason school was called off. And Piper rarely gets a down day. She's so busy with school and swimming and stuff. And she was like, I just want to chill out. So
Yeah, no, it was fucking freezing, dude. It's cold today. I went out.
And then I would have liked to have maybe stopped out yesterday, but my wife was off, and I've had that wood insert laying around for a month, and I just finally decided, you know what? I'm going to have to carve this thing into the fireplace myself, and I did.
Yeah, you got it in. It works pretty good, right?
Oh yeah. It's not making my house 80 degrees, but if I get it, once I get it up to speed, it does seem like it's stalling out my thermostat, and my furnace is staying off for a while. So,
yeah, that's what we found. Like, so when we're running it right now, I'm actually using the last of my wood. I got to get wood tomorrow, but like it'll heat the whole downstairs, get it up to like 72, 73, but then it also shuts off our heater, so all the upstairs rooms don't get anything, and so it's kind of nice because then when you go to bed, you're freezing.
Yeah,
you pile on all the blankets and you fall asleep. But then on the night, the fire dies, then the heater kicks back on, and then you wake up and it's 70 degrees and you're fine. Like it's pretty cool. And then you see.
Well, I hadn't noticed, but when I went and looked at my thermostat, my fan was actually on instead of auto. So what it was doing, it was heating up the room, but the furnace fan was like on low, and so it was blowing all the warm air all over the house. But it was still staying at like 70 degrees. Yeah. Like you said, it was like single digits this morning. So, I mean, it wasn't like 90 degrees in any one room, unless you're standing right on top of it. But it was nice. It's cool.
Yeah. I was thinking that I thought Phil was going to pipe into the podcast from like a heart-shaped tub in fucking Silver Springs or wherever he is. Fucking.
I think he's in Holiday Valley.
Yeah.
So what happened with his frozen pipes? Did he have a lot of water damage?
I have no idea. I never really got to talk to him about it.
I mean, my sink, my kitchen sink, the cold water freezes. We've had to I put a heater in that I can't figure out. It must be. I know we have a crawl space underneath the house. Like we have a basement, but then there's like a tiny crawl space, and I think that's kind of where the kitchen is. And I think the water pipes go down through there. So our cold water just on the kitchen sink has been frozen for the last 2 days. Sucks. Hot water works, but the cold's not working. But nothing's exploded yet, so I think we're doing okay. So, yeah, whatever. So everybody's really quiet. Nobody's got nothing, huh?
What are we looking for?
A joke.
Well, how about this? So, did anybody watch the video I sent over before we started?
Yeah.
So, for the listeners that are listening, the Mecum auction posted a video of a few non-standard but standard bikes going through. Nick, what were they? They were a CBX.
The first one was a Kawasaki Z1R.
Yeah.
Then there was the CBX, and there was an H2 triple, Kawasaki H2 triple.
And they all looked like restorations. I don't think they were zero miles.
No. In fact, the video was I think it was taken by a guy who was videotaping his TV, a British guy. And he was commenting on the Z1R. It's like, man, that doesn't even have the original exhaust. It's not,
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that. But I think the Z1R went for probably $27,000, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Which this guy remarked was the most he's ever seen one go for.
Yep. And then the CBX, I've never seen a CBX in that. It was it didn't have luggage or anything. I don't even think it was original, right? It was black.
No, the CBX did come with it had an aftermarket exhaust on it, but it did come with the original exhaust with it, just not on the bike.
Okay.
And it went for what, $50,000?
$50,000.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then the H2, which you can still find H2s. I see them regularly for $5,000 to $7,000 in decent condition. And what did that one go for? 29 or 20?
Oh, 20 something. Yeah.
Yeah, 20.
I thought it was 21, but I can't remember.
That's insane, though. How long do you think this kind of pricing on this shit is going to last?
Well, as long as the people who are willing to pay for it last.
But do you think some of these guys are going to be stuck with a bike that they'll never get their fucking money out of?
Yes.
If you pay $50,000 for a CBX, I think you better really like that bike. And if you do, we're not I'm not dogging the guy. Like if that was his dream bike and the dude has money and that's the bike he wanted, and he's gonna,
then he shouldn't have bought it on Mecum auctions.
Well, there's that too. But and what's gonna be sad is to see those bikes go and just be put in a collection and never rode, and just sitting there doing something like that.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably where they're gonna end up. So I would imagine, and I don't know this, but I would imagine that these are probably museums or collections buying these bikes.
Yeah, it could be. Could be. It's just sad.
I think it's around 4th of July or something.
But so Smith, did you see? I saw a Janus that doesn't suck.
He might not be listening. He took his earbuds out.
That's probably good.
Early spring.
Hold on, we're waiting for him. He's having a different conversation.
Yeah. Chris.
Yeah.
Smith, did you see that? I saw a Janus that I actually liked.
I saw that. You like the little cafe racer?
Yeah, what is that called? That thing?
It's called the Griffin.
Oh yeah, yeah. Did they make that in the 450 or no?
No, not yet. Not yet. It's all a 250.
Okay.
They have a scrambler style too in the 250. So, hey, so I got another joke for you. You want to hear another joke?
Oh
Yeah.
So a guy from Nebraska moves to Florida and goes to a big box, everything under one roof department store looking for a job. The manager says, "Do you have any sales experience?" And the kid says, "Yeah, I was a salesman back in Omaha." So the boss says, "All right, I'll give you a job. You start tomorrow. And I'll come down after we close and see how you did." So his first day on the job was pretty rough, but he got through it. And the store manager comes down and says, "How'd you do? How many sales did you have today?" And the kid says, "1." Boss says, "Just one? Most of our salespeople average 20 to 30 customers a day. How much was the sale for?" He says, $101,237.65. The boss says, 101,000? What the heck did you sell? Kid says, "Well, first I sold him a small fish hook. Then I sold him a medium fish hook. Then I sold him a larger fish hook. Then I sold him a new fishing rod. Then I asked him, where are you going fishing?" And he said, "Down the coast." So I told him he was going to need a boat, so we went down to the boat department. I sold him a twin-engine Boston Whaler. Then he said he didn't think his Honda Civic could pull it, so I took him down to the automotive department and I sold him a 4x4 Expedition. The boss says, "The guy came in here to buy a fish hook and you sold him a boat and a truck?" Kid says, "No, the guy came in here to buy tampons for his wife." And I said, "Dude, your weekend is shot. You need to go fishing." You guys got to keep up.
Oh my gosh. It took me a second to process.
Oh man.
I'll send out the notes later. You guys can.
Oh, that was all right. It was good.
You'll stay up all night laughing to yourself. Oh, that was a good joke.
It's a long trip for a small payoff, man.
Yeah, it's a long.
Well, that's the Christmas specialty.
Yeah.
A long slide for a short run.
So, so this is the first, well, not counting last year, but it's kind of weird. So all the Facebook memories keep popping up right now of the Cleveland IMS shows. Because this must have been the weekend that they usually took place or something. Because I keep getting all the like, "Hey, you remember this?" And we're all at the fucking IMS shows and stuff. It is kind of weird not to have one of those this year and not have like something to look forward to go to and see all the new stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't think those IMS shows are coming back to Cleveland ever. I think we're done.
But the IX Center's not dead. So another company bought it and they're gonna renovate it. So the IX Center is still gonna be a fucking place. They're taking out the windmill, or what do you call that thing?
Ferris wheel.
They're taking that out?
Yeah, they're taking the windmill out too, but
So they're taking the Ferris wheel out, and then they're going to reopen it. So they're going to make it.
That's a bummer.
I thought they were going to demolish it. No.
What are they going to do at the? Are they just going to continue to do like the Cleveland Auto Show, which is like just dealerships coming in? Or,
You know what? You know what they said? They're going to start to put in permanent walls so that they can split it up more appropriately. So if you remember, we've been out at the motorcycle show, and on another half of the IX Center was a bridal show or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work. So the way I understand it is they're going to construct some sort of permanent, barriers so that they can have 2 different or 3 different shows under the same roof without any interference from people like Steve Sleepy Cinch, wandering into the bridal show and, showing his bridles.
Or trying on. All right, the one year I was trying on chaps and didn't realize that, when I stepped behind the curtain, I was in the other show. And
Yeah.
well, yeah.
Yeah. And those chaps are very revealing.
What do you think all the leather houses that were showing up the last few years are going to do now that the motorcycle shows are gone?
Man, or all of the snake oil salesmen who go to the shows to sell
Hey,
this
Nick,
garbage.
are those glasses? Let me see your glasses. Let me show you how I can unfog them. Man.
Well, years ago, we were out at the IX Center, and I was surprised that there is a physician who is a plastic surgeon out there trying to sell tattoo removals.
Oh.
And which was interesting. But I went up to the guy and I said, "Why the hell aren't you at the bridal show? That's where the mother of the bride is going to pay big money to have that big tattoo removed, from the middle of her back. Here at the motorcycle show, nobody gives a shit.
Did you
You have the wrong market here, pal."
Did you ever see about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, Saturday Night Live had a skit with those girls that are awesome, like the ones that were in Park and Rec and all that, like Amy Poehler and all that.
Yeah.
And it looked like an underarm deodorant, but it was like a tattoo remover. And it's like, hey, me and the girls on spring break 1996 went to Cancun. And she goes, we made some bad decisions. And so she lifts up her back of her shirt, and it's all 4 of the girls' like faces in a tattoo, like in a tramp stamp, and it's just terribly done. And she's like, but now with this, we can get rid of our mistakes. And so she rubs it on the back, and she's like, the pain and sizzling means it's working. And so she says, after 10 applications, let's look. And so they go, and it looks like a burn victim scar area, but the tattoo's gone. And then she goes, now nobody will remember or know the bad decisions I made in Cancun. And so she looks at her husband, and they're both white. And then her son walks in, and he's a 7-foot-tall black dude. And he's like, hey, Mom, what's up? He just walks away. It was fucking great, dude. It was, oh, man. And it was exact age of her last trip. So it was like he was 18, and the trip was 18 years ago or something. It was fucking brilliant, man. I miss good old Saturday Night Live like that. That was funny. So, yeah. So, Smith and Dan, you guys got to wear skirts and go do something a week ago. What'd you guys do?
We talked about this last week.
I know, but we didn't go over the whole thing.
We went to Burns Night.
So explain Burns Night.
Again?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear that again.
Well, let's go through it quickly because I don't remember that. But then again,
we wear skirts and drink whiskey.
Oh, okay.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
So it was the 8th annual Robert Burns night at Market Garden Brewery. And Andy Tavikram, a friend of ours, has been putting this on with the Robert Burns Society of Cleveland. And after 7 years of trying to get in, this last year, they let Dan Kromke come in because, no, I'm teasing. So Kromke's been
I've been going to that I've probably been to 5 of the 8 that they've had.
All right. So they finally let Chris Smith in, but
Very
so
nice.
you know what? The food was very interesting. They had haggis, traditional haggis, and they had curried haggis. They had what's called shepherd's pie, and then they had roasted root vegetables and some mashed potatoes. So the food was exceptional, I thought. And the haggis, a lot of people shy away from haggis, but Dan, if you would agree, I thought the haggis was very flavorful and just tremendously delightful.
I mean,
Okay,
It is haggis.
how does it compare to spotted dick?
Well, you know, if you've dated a girl by the name of Spotted Dick, you would know the answer to that. Haggis is a ground meat, and it's mixed with oats, and it's stuffed into a large casing, which is about the size of cinches. Well, I won't go there, but it's about 6 inches in diameter, and it's baked, and so it's you know, depending upon the meat and the spices, it's delightful. So
So it sounds like kind of like a meatloaf stuffed in a casing.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, traditional haggis used all the parts of the animal that most people throw away. Heart, lungs, liver, kidneys.
Nostrils.
Pigs
But-
and assholes.
But it's all ground up and it's all mixed with spices, so it doesn't make any difference where the meat started. It's just where it ends up.
This reminds me, there's a show coming up at the Grog Shop or one of these bars, the hipster bars, and it caught my eye because the name of the band is the greatest band name ever. It's called Massive Hot Dog Recall. I was like, that's a good band name, man. I'm into it, man. Massive Hot Dog Recall. I like that.
That is a good band name.
Yeah. So, Nick, you've been gone now for what, a couple of months?
Probably almost half a year. Yeah.
So what's been going on, man? What are you doing down there?
Well, I've been working. I work for a new company, and I basically design pool lighting and stuff like swimming pool lighting and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's been pretty cool. I've met up with the Incriminators Scooter Club. They're actually local to the town that I'm in, Durham, North Carolina. So that's been really cool. I've been going to their club meetings and stuff like that, going on a couple rides with them. Of course, I haven't had a working scooter because it's in pieces behind me currently, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, but did you get to slay them with the tale of the locked up, the 63 Vespa killing himself and stuff? Like, were you able to regale them with all your scooter stories and stuff? Or?
Oh yeah, they were thrilled of all of my stories of being thrown off of my Vespa, going 60 miles an hour to band camp.
Did they know? So did they know what band camp is down there?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for sure. A couple of them have gone. In fact, they were probably there when I went. I just didn't know them at the time. But yeah, they're a good group of guys and girls, and it's a cool club. So hopefully, as it starts to warm up again, I'll be able to start doing some more rides with them and keep going to their meetings. But other than that, I've been it seems like I'm always cleaning the garage, and you can see behind me the result is not a whole lot of progress, but slowly but surely. And been working on the CT 140 some more. I got a new ECU for that, so I'm going to try to start tuning the fuel injection a little bit more.
Yeah, cool.
That's really an amazing project that you've done, Nick. I'm proud of you on that one. The fuel injected 140.
Yeah, thank you. It's really, I just fired it up about a couple hours ago, and it's been 20 degrees in the garage, maybe 30 degrees in the garage, and fourth kick. started right up, and it was just idling beautifully at probably around 800 RPM. Just didn't miss a beat.
That's like the only other bike that I know that has an electronic ignition and fuel injection that you could start with a Kickstarter was the Royal Enfield. So, you know what I mean? Most, it's not, you're kickstarting that fuel injected bike is pretty spectacular.
Yeah. And with the new ECU, I'll be able to run. The problem with the old ECU is it's some Chinese kit that was really not good. And the software to tune it is like a knockoff of Tuner Studio, but it's all locked off and you can't do all the things that you really need to do to tune it. So I'm going to be using an actual, Mega Squirt compatible system and should be able to do a lot of the cool auto tuning steps to get it to actually run really well throughout the entire range. So
you mean you're going to get it to sing? You're going to use autotune?
Oh, it'll sing all right.
There's nothing worse than like when Chinese companies rip something off, you get excited at first. You're like, holy shit, I can get this for $10, right?
Yeah.
They did that with the helicopter, the RC helicopter thing. And so there's a flight control called a V-bar, and the V-bar is about $450, $500. And, and then you get the software to tune the helicopter and everything. Well, the Chinese companies ripped it off. And so for a long time, they were selling a thing called K-bar. And you'd go to the other website, download their software, the K-bar thing would come. And as long as you didn't use updated software, you could tune and do the K-bar. So I recently just put together a helicopter again, and I had a K-bar from like years ago. And I slapped it on, and I was like, oh, shit, I need the software. So I went and I tried to download the software, and like this giant red thing popped up, and it's like, you do not have an authorized code. You will not download the software. So now like I can't even do anything. Like I can't program it. I'm sure I can go to GitHub and find it, but that's like the risk you take when you're like messing around with like some like bootleg shit. At some point the vendor's going to get smart and shut your ass off, and then you don't have any way to control it or do anything.
Right. Well, the thing with this ECU, the Chinese ECU, is when you're running their software, it is very obviously a ripoff of the legit software. And it comes with this big warning where it's like, if you try to use like genuine Tuner Studio with this board, it will brick it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they did with V-bar too. If like you try to get around it and download the new shit and run the old V-bar, you're gonna have a brick. You're done. Mm-hmm. So that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, but my end goal with the fuel injection progress is to be able to get to a point where it runs as good or better than carburetor, obviously. But also I kind of want to get, used to the software and how things work and just learn about it to be able to eventually convert the Alfa Romeo to. I mean,
once you've climbed that mountain, everything else looks like a valley, right?
Well, I mean, and that there's definitely something to be said about that stupid Chinese kit that I bought on eBay, because it really teaches you, first of all, how things work, but also, what are the weaknesses?
My first fuel injection kit.
Yeah.
So with your Alfa Romeo, is it like to do it? Is it pretty much like a standard size carb, or like what does it need? I guess like what would you think? Like what kind of an system would you need to slap on that?
Yeah, well, it's currently got 4 carburetor. It's a 4-barrel, 2 Weber DCOE twin barrel carburetors. So four separate chokes going into the engine. And they make, there's a company in Britain making throttle bodies that actually look just like Weber carburetors, which is kind of neat, but they have fuel injectors in them and all the electronic bits just hidden away, but they look like carburetors.
Oh, wow.
So I might
kind of like Triumph does with their motorcycles.
Yeah, exactly. So I might do something like that. Or I might just slap something. I might actually use motorcycle throttle bodies. GSXR 600 throttle or 1000 throttle bodies will, each of the throttle bodies is separate and they're just sort of bolted together. So that'd be real easy to space apart to whatever I need them to be and mount them to that thing. So yeah, we'll see.
Is it running currently, or is this just something to improve it?
Yeah, it's running. Well, it's still something to improve it, because as I'm driving around, there's little spots in the rev range where it hesitates or does something where I'm like, well, I could put in the effort to try to tune this out, or I can slap some throttle bodies on it and it'll run better than before right away and keep tuning it from there. But
Right on.
we'll see.
So,
I think also what this comes down to is I'm lazy, and I know that car isn't running quite right. So instead of doing it properly with the carburetors, I can slap some throttle bodies on it and solve it that way. It's just a different way of doing things, I guess.
In my mind, that's hard. I'd rather clean 2 carbs than do the fuel injection system. But it's just, for you, that's easier for you. You'd rather do the fuel injection. And I think that'll be a nice thing to do to that car if you can get it to work and everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Yep. So I thought of something. So since Phil's not here, and we didn't really do our New Year's resolutions, we could try to swing this, and it'll be like on the cuff because I'm bringing this up right now. So as a podcast, what do you think our New Year's resolutions for 2022 should be this coming bike season? What do you think we should try to do, or what do you think we should try to? I mean, obviously we're going to go to Mid-Ohio and stuff like that, but is there anything in your guys' mind that the podcast in general should try to talk about, cover, go to, do? Have an event? We did the motorcycle build off. Is there something else you think we should do this year? Let's come up with some ideas, and then we can bring these all up to Phil when he's back on next week.
I'd like to have a camp out somewhere, whether it's at the compound or your house, or go somewhere. I mean, like a party weekend aside from Mid-Ohio.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen
I
here.
think you just do a Friday or a Saturday night and fucking cut loose.
So I finally had a chance. So my neighbor, Phil guy, who is the new Phil, that's my buddy, I met his brother, Andrew, who's also a cool guy. And so we got to hang out and chill for a minute. We were having a beer the other day. And so I showed him our video of ice racing. And he was like, holy shit, that's right here. And I was like, yeah. He goes, you guys are fucking stupid. And I'm like, yeah. And so he was like, so what's the chances that you're going to have a party this summer and have a bunch of more stupid people over? And I'm like, probably pretty good. He was like, excellent. He's like, what's the chance that there'll be a band? And I'm like, well, now that you said it, you're not going to have a problem with it. Pretty fucking good. So, yeah, no, the camping and a band and stupidity and all that, 100% on. They're looking forward to it. So I got no problems with that. So, yeah, that's happening, man. We're going to make that happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But
this might be a bit selfish, but I think one of the ClevelandMoto resolutions would be to come down south and maybe go to the Barber Museum or just ride around the mountains in Western North Carolina.
I'm on board with that. I'd love to do that.
That might be, maybe we could do that in like late spring where it's still like shitty and
All right, not even that late of spring. You want to probably go in April.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because March, once in a while, you get a day or two up here in March that's rideable, but usually it's like you're dealing with salt on the roads and all the other bullshit. But I'd definitely be down for leaving work on Friday, driving in and getting there late at night, and then riding Saturday and leaving late Sunday or something like that. Yeah. Well, Nick, if we do that, though, you got to find some sweet roads, man. Take us on a fucking journey.
Yeah, I'll have to find some roads, and maybe I'll find a campsite or something.
Hell yeah. That sounds good. All right.
Like your backyard.
Yep.
Yeah. We can camp in Nick's garage right next to the Alfa Romeo.
There's no room in the garage.
Where are you exactly, Nick?
I'm in Durham, so really right near the middle of the state.
Okay.
The mountains are about 2 hours away from me.
Do they just give away tobacco down there?
There's a walking trail that actually the what is it called? It's the Greenway. It goes all the way from Maine down to Key West. It's like a trail, all the way across the East Coast, and it passes right through Durham. It's in this section is called the American Tobacco Trail.
Ah, all right. I just remember, like, when I used to go down to Spartanburg, South Carolina all the time for Joe Knoll, the big RC festival, and I'd be driving through there, and it would always be like Raleigh, Durham, tobacco capital of the world, and like everything was tobacco this and that, and tobacco this, and then next to it would be like sponsored by so and so Cancer Institute. And you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, that was kind of funny. I like that. Yeah. So Smith, what do you think? What's your resolution for this coming year for the podcast and or motorcycling?
I think Kromke mentioned a couple of nice roads down Medina way for small bikes.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if you remember that, Dan, but I thought you had mentioned that a month or so ago. So I think it'd be fun to. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'll look back on some of our text messages.
That's probably a good resolution for me. I'm going to try to get a small bike for this summer.
Yep, that'll be good. West River Road, which is kind of within my area, but also toward Medina. That fucker was awesome. I was coming back from a shoot a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, this road is just, I'm fucking driving like this the whole time, and I'm like, this road would be fun as shit.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
I think I've ridden on that road.
Yeah, it seemed, and it's a 35 mile an hour road, so like it's not like it's perfect for small bikes. So I'll look that up and mark it down and send you guys links. But that road was fun as shit, and I was just driving home in the winter, so it was fun.
So the other thing I'm going to tell you is I noticed that Janus Motorcycles set up a situation with a small joint down in West Palm Beach, Florida, for them to be a designated service outlet and also have one Janus in their joint. So I called Phil to say that he should volunteer to be an authorized Janus location, and they would give him a bike so people can come rolling in and test drive a Janus in his place.
Nothing in the kitchen.
And it wouldn't cost them anything to have it there, and then all of us knuckleheads could go jump on the Janus and rip and tear and have a good time at their expense.
Yeah, and then like if you pulled in, people can give eyeballs to both yours and Phil's Janus and see whose is nicer.
Well, I told him to put mine up on the stand in the window, and
but
everybody can appreciate my Janus.
But I think if you put them up next to each other, his will be shiny and new, and yours has been ridden quite a bit. It's got some miles on it, so I don't know, man.
You've got a dirty Janus.
Yeah.
God love you.
Chris, I owe you a beer, or rather a pack of beers, because that Janus video that I put up has earned probably about $15.
Right.
So how does that work? Do people go and they look at it or what?
Yeah. People watching the video. Actually, I looking at the analytics. It's actually people who are searching for the Janus Halcyon 250, searching on YouTube and seeing my video and clicking on it and watching it. So that's pretty cool.
You got to put the things in the taglines on Moto Stories. Some of the biggest ones are ones that you wouldn't expect. The SSR one we put up a week ago is killing it. Mm-hmm. Like if people are searching SSR and ice racing and all this other shit, and it's crazy. I'm gonna be able to retire soon, man. I'm at $54 now in the old fucking bank account on YouTube. So,
oh yeah.
I'm about to just quit the job and just start hanging out now at home.
My best video is still how to fix a toaster, and this was probably from the 90s, an old toaster that was given to us, and it stopped working, and I was going to throw it away, but I decided to fix it and make a video about it. And that stupid toaster has earned me probably about $200.
Well, let me put it this way. Used, new is $24,000, but used is $8,000. So $8,000 camera, $3,000 lenses, $1,000 lights, $1,000 lav microphones, numerous cables and other things and whatever else you need and stuff like that, all put together to do 96 fucking videos in a year and a half, and that earned us a total of $52.
Hell yeah.
Totally worth it, 100%. If you really want to make money, YouTube is the way to go. It's definitely not a passion project because it's definitely, a lot of money to be made from that shit.
Well, you have to amortize it over 92 years.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right. But you never know. Like Nick says, one of your videos could go viral and get a million hits, and all of a sudden, then you have 50 grand. You know what I mean? Like, I think like a million video views will get you about $5,000. I think it's pretty much what it comes out. It's pretty much right around there. So,
well, Nick, I'll have to ship the Janus down your way, and you can do a more updated unit.
Absolutely.
Video.
Chris, have you ever thought about figuring out? So, like, they kind of used a Honda motor. Like, you ever thought about throwing a 450 or a fucking 550 Honda motor in that thing?
I have, but I don't know that the cradle, the frame is strong enough for that. They had to, when they built the 450, they had a whole new frame built up for it. So I don't know that if you had to retrofit a 450 in there, whether it would completely damage the thing. I'd have to rely on someone like John McElfresh to advise on that.
Understandably.
I see a text message. Lost skiing, just got it back. How's the podcast?
Tell them you're doing.
Yeah, it's
That's
wonderful.
what Phil says.
You know, it's Cinch. I'd do it in a second because I've got a GS 450 motor left over when I was rebuilding my 81 GS 450. So I got that, but again, I don't know whether it would be just the weight would be too much for the cradle, and it might snap everything in half, and you just ruin the whole goddamn thing. So
You'd be the only Janus with a Suzuki engine.
yeah, how cool would that be?
That'd be all right, actually. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Actually, yeah. It's a good motor, but again, you'd have to retrofit it, and I only have one of these units, so it's not like I can have a secondary one that I can fiddle dick around with and see if it works.
Yeah.
True.
I got one. If I break it, then I'm fucked. So
True.
right, Johnny?
Chew, chubby chew.
I just watched the update
getting
that
too
Liza
comfortable.
put out, and there's a lot of empty motorcycles, I gotta say.
Oh, people have fallen off already?
I guess so.
It must have been
And it's-
people not moving that got to them.
Right.
All that sitting.
And it looks like it was just getting dark over there. They're in California, so
Well, yeah, it's
probably around 6:30, I guess.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's crazy. They probably weren't doing much. So the captain was skiing, lost his phone, found it. Now we're maybe going to get him back on the horn here or what?
There's a possibility. I told him we're rocking the podcast right now.
All right. I sent the link again, too, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So he must have just woke up and said, fuck it, I'm going skiing.
Yeah. So what kind of comments did we get on our ice racing? Was there any good? Was there any bad? Can you see any of that kind of
A lot of
stuff?
thumbs up and a couple guys challenging us because they have like a 1974 fucking Husqvarna or a fucking Mako fucking 125 two-stroke with set up with fucking spikes and ice racing fenders, and they think they can take us out. And I'm like, well, that wasn't the point at all. Like, we knew
I'm okay with that, though.
we knew
I'm
we
okay
weren't
with
going.
that.
How many bikes did you set up with the screws? A couple?
2 so far.
2? Okay. So you only need 2 to race. So yeah.
Phil said he has enough for a third bike and that he has more on order, I think.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he left the screws in my garage. So today so Dan, I fired up your heater and I got it working with my big, I have a 20-pound or whatever. It's like double the size of a normal barbecue tanker. I fired that fucker up and I went out there and I took apart my SSR and I pulled the seat off to fuck with the seat. Then, so Phil has a whole fucking bag full of clutch levers and brake levers, but I couldn't get the thing to work. So I ordered one off of Amazon that was more like the old school one that we had that's not adjustable. I slapped it on and it worked instantly. So I thought that was kind of weird. So I did that and I'm sizing it up, and so I could put the spikes in the tires. So if we want to have a third bike, because he left the whole fucking tray of things, I could put them in there. So that's up to you guys if you want me to use them or not.
Well, I already went down the rabbit hole with my bike, so it's up to, I don't, whatever you do, you do.
All right, well, maybe I'll do it so we can have a three-way.
I love a nice three-way.
Yeah, a little thruffle going on.
Phil says he's not safe for human interaction.
Oh.
I don't know if he's been at the bar or he's too cold or both, but he's not up for it.
Okay, well, that's fine. He deserves a break. He deserves a vacation.
I'm going skiing tomorrow, but I can tell you what, I'm already banged up, so it'll be interesting.
I would like to, but I'm afraid my legs would break off, and then I'd have to get more surgeries, so I don't think I can do that anymore. I'm already concerned about doing what we're doing. So my neighbor guys, they're like, you look a little malnourished. And I'm like, what? He's like, you haven't been in the country long enough. He goes, I used to weigh $150. And this dude's like 300 pounds. So I was like, oh, okay. I like this area. You just get to eat and get fat. I'm in. It's on a fucking plan to me. So, yeah. John's like been there, done it.
Yeah. So what's the situation with the house?
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Oh, me? So this week, our house went up. We had 9 offers within a day. We took one offer. It seems like it's going through. It was a little bit over asking price, which is nice. But we're also dealing with Cleveland Heights now. So today they had the house inspection. We're waiting to hear that. But then we still have to do the Cleveland Heights point of sale inspection, which they can be complete dicks. They can be like, you have to replace the chimney. You have to replace, like all kinds of dumb shit. But the cool part is that one of the clauses in the offer that we got from the lady was that she's willing to accept up to $5,000 of city violations.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. She said, well, the cool part about this woman is that she's lived in Cleveland Heights for like 20 years. She's been renting and she's wanted to buy a house. So now she wants to buy a house. So she understands that Cleveland Heights sucks. So that alone is kind of cool. But I'll give you this. So, like, I never knew if, like, writing a letter or not, like, when you're trying to buy a house would make a difference. But it actually did. So, like, we had all these offers, and there was a couple that were very similar to hers. But she wrote this letter, and the letter was really beautiful. It was like, she talked about how she lived in Cleveland Heights. She loves the fucking area. When she walked in, she could tell that we redid a lot of the work, and she appreciated all the work done to the house. And she could imagine her sons playing on this and that and all this stuff. And it actually made a difference. Like the little letter made us feel good. Like
sucker.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well,
it worked on you.
No, but it's not like I accepted the lowest offer because of her letter. Like she was actually like, there was 2 offers that were the top and they were the same. And one was hers and one was this like,
okay.
It almost seemed like a corporation, right? And so it was nice to hear that this person actually wants to live in the house. They want to be part of the neighborhood because I love my old neighbors. Like all my old neighbors are like really good friends of mine and stuff. So I didn't want them to get a corporation buying the house and then fucking leasing it out to a bunch of scumbags or something like that. Like, so like, I mean, it kind of did mean a lot to me. Like, and like, yes, I hated the house because I'd been there for 10 years and we outgrew it. And like, I didn't have room for my shit in the garage and stuff, but I love the neighbors. I love the neighborhood. And I put a lot of effort and time and fixing and painting and all the shit into the house. So I mean, I think it does make a difference when you know that it's going to go to somebody that like actually gives a fuck. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, because like right now with a lot of the houses that are for sale, there's like these multinational corporations buying them and they don't give a fuck. Like they might tear the fucking thing down tomorrow. Like who knows? Like, and
sucker.
Make it into a duplex that you just rent or something. And that would just...
I'm expecting Steve to just say now, so anyway, I rejected their offer, but it meant a lot.
No, but I put a clause in that she has to give me 1 night of, intimacy, and then she can have the house. So
No, you put a clause in saying she has to haul your paint shed out to your place in Wellington.
I did have to tell them that it would be moving in the next couple of weeks. And they're like, okay, cool. And I'm like, I just have to get all my lazy friends to fucking help me move this fucking thing. So, but my neighbor, so Phil guy, my neighbor, has a car hauler trailer that I can use. I just need a vehicle that can pull it because my Hyundai ain't going to do it. So I do have a big trailer now available to me.
Put that in the offer. Have the lady who's buying the place haul the trailer out for you.
Right. Let me borrow your car.
Yeah. So I have a question for you guys, and I think John and me talked about this, but I want to get your guys' opinion. So I'm thinking this spring to take my garage and build 1/4 of it into an actual shop that's insulated and stuff, that I can put a heater and an air conditioner in that with a man door big enough, at least 36 or 38, 40 some inches. I can get bikes in and out of it with the lift and everything in there. And that way I can just insulate a little part of it, keep it hot or cool at my demand in the summer. Do you think that that's okay? Like, do you think you need a permit to build internal walls and an internal structure?
No, absolutely not. You can do whatever you want.
Okay, cool. But I think that would be the way. And then and then I was thinking if you make it strong, the top of it, which would be, right at the level of the beams and stuff, that could be all storage. And so it's free space.
Like a loft space for storage.
Yeah, like bins. Like you can put all the dumb shit you don't use a lot, Christmas decorations, whatever, above that. It's not taking up any more space. And it's above like the fenced or walled in shop area that you can actually keep cool or warm or whatever.
I like it.
Because I think trying to heat or cool a big ass area is going to be dumb. Like, especially without an insulation or anything like that, it's just going to be dumb.
How big is that garage? Do you know?
It's 40 by 60.
40 by 60. Okay.
It's a pretty decent
That's
size.
pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like 2,400 square feet.
Yeah. No, it's good. All my bikes are fucking chilling, and there's plenty of room to add more.
It's more square footage in my house.
I forgot to tell you guys the best part about getting a big garage. All your friends drop off more motorcycles, so you have more shit for free. So I went from having a few bikes to having a snowmobile, a quad, 4 SSRs, and I don't even know what else. So it's kind of nice.
Have you noticed I've been dropping my phone?
No, but you don't.
Are you falling asleep?
Yes.
Well, you missed it last week, though, dude. John fell asleep last week, and it fell into his vagina. And so this was literally just a giant vagina the whole fucking time.
Oh my God.
There it is again.
No. Last week was straight up like, I don't know what it was pointed at, but I think John's belly button looks like a vagina when you're not listening. I'm not sure.
Oh God.
Where's the bleach? Oh man. So anybody got a trip coming up or anything? Anybody doing anything during the Corona death spiral?
I'm just trying to embrace winter sports: snowmobile, skiing, snow blowing.
Snow blowing.
Is that in the Winter Olympics?
Oh yeah.
Toro.
I kind of failed at the ice ballet on Tuesday. I took a pretty bad fall.
Oh yeah, where were you at? What happened?
Nothing. I was just right outside the door of my garage, and there's all this ice right there that comes up. There's an L-shaped house. Of course, I'm like lifting a heavy shovel full of snow and ice, and slip and go down.
It happens. Like I told you guys today, I killed myself leaving the house this morning, man. This shit's no joke.
Yeah, I mean, I even hit my head. I went down so hard.
Jeez.
Yeah.
My buddy lost his sense of smell. He slipped on the ice and hit his head so hard he can no longer smell.
Wow. Like still? Like permanently?
Yeah, permanently.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That sucks.
He's probably the third king at this point, though, because he can just rip him and not care.
Yeah. Well, I was farting around him and he started complaining. I'm like, what do you care? He's like, I still don't want your guts in my nose.
No, with you, he can taste it. It's not even a fucking thing of smell, dude.
Mhm.
Oh, shit. All right. So,
All right.
anything else? Anybody got anything exciting?
One last joke from Chris.
No, I got nothing for you. Keep moving along.
Okay. I really don't have too much that I could talk about.
Did I ever tell you guys the koala bear joke?
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
So there's this koala bear, and he's been in the zoo for like 15 years. And he's sick of it. And he's sick of being in there, and he's just sick of his cage. So one night when the guy comes to feed him, he slips a little thing in the lock. The guy leaves, and he just sits there, and he's like, okay, maybe it worked. I don't know. He pushes the door, and it opens. He's like, holy shit, this is awesome. So he jumps out of his cage. He's walking through the zoo, and all the other animals are like, what the fuck, man? He's like, I'm out of here. Fuck you guys. I'm sick of this place. They're like, all right, well, have fun. He's like, yeah, fuck you guys. So he leaves, starts walking down the street, and he sees a bar, and he's like, fuck, it's been 15 years since I had a drink. They're like, okay. So he goes to the bar, opens the door, jumps up, climbs up onto the bar stool, sits down, and goes, bartender, give me a Jack Daniels. Bartender goes, hey, buddy, you're a koala bear. You got some ID or something? He's like, no, I'm a fucking koala bear. Why would I have ID? Now give me a fucking shot of Jack Daniels. Guy's like, yeah, I guess there's really no rules about me serving a koala bear, so fine. So he gives him a shot of Jack Daniels. So the koala bear shucks down the Jack Daniels, and at that moment, the door opens, and this blonde walks in. And the koala bear looks over and says, damn, look at that. I haven't had any of that in 15 years. He's like, hey, baby, can I buy you a drink? Girl looks over and goes, you're a koala bear. He's like, yeah, man, I'm cute and fuzzy and shit. Let me buy you a drink. She's like, okay, you're a koala bear. That's fine. So she sits down and he says, bartender, get me 2 Jack Daniels. Bartender's like, all right, whatever. So a couple drinks go by. They're talking. They're hanging out and stuff. And the bartender goes, hey, koala bear. He's like, yeah. He goes, you got any money? Koala bear's like, I don't know what the fuck money is. He goes, all right, fine. Get the fuck out of here and take your friend with you. So him and the koala bear and the girl get out of the bar, and she's like, so what the hell, man? What are we going to do? He's like, what are you feeling like? She goes, well, you want to go to your place or mine? He's like, kind of in between places right now. Let's go to your place. She's like, all right. So this hot blonde mini skirt and everything, and the koala bear goes to her place. They walk up. She opens the door. He grabs her, and as soon as they walk in, he throws her on the couch. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm a koala bear. And he jumps down, he pulls up her skirt, and he rips off her panties, and he goes down on her and gives her the best oral sex she's ever had in her life. She's like, I can't believe I just got eaten out by a koala bear. He's like, all right, great. He's like, I got to go, man. I'll talk to you later. She's like, well, where are you going? He's like, I got to go, man. I got things to do. She goes, yeah, but I'm a prostitute. You owe me $50. And he says, oh, really? She's like, yeah. He's like, I don't know, you shit. She's like, why? He goes, give me that. She goes, they start talking. Hey, stop. I'm telling a joke. You're killing me.
A bad joke.
Yeah, a bad joke. So koala bear jumps up and, the whole thing goes down and she says she's a prostitute, $50. He jumps up and says, so what, man? I'm a koala bear. I got to get going. She's like, no, dude, I don't think you understand. Maybe there's a language barrier. So she grabs a dictionary. She whips it open and it says, look, right here. It's in black and white. Prostitute, woman who gets paid for sexual favors. She goes, you owe me $50. Koala bear goes, fuck you, give me that thing. Flips open the dictionary to koala bear and it says, small furry animal from Australia who eats bush and leaves. I did a Smith joke. It's a long build-up to a bad payoff.
I like it.
Tell him again. John was sleeping.
Yeah. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait till we can meet together. So what do you guys think? You think, like, if Phil's not dying of COVID next week, is anybody cool with getting together at the shop?
Sure.
Yeah, as long as people are healthy and safe, I'll do it.
All right, good.
I'm on the backside of COVID, so I don't think I'm too hot.
It's like I have AIDS and syphilis and fucking the mumps, but I haven't had COVID in a week, so we're good. And he's sleeping again. All right. Well, I guess on that point, we suck without Phil. So ride fast and take chances.
Ba, 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 ba,